Angry Migtau here, and today we're talking about the New World Order and things that are happening. I'm going to be live streaming this as a podcast, so I can also look in at the stream and see what questions that you guys have and interact with you guys. This also signifies 2,000 subscribers. And imagine this, somebody pointed out this in the comments, that you'll have a sex bot, kind of like you'll have an iPhone. And when you're done with this model, they'll just trade it in for a new one, just like you traded an iPhone. It's kind of crazy. And also, they're going to get rid of the name sex bots. Trust me, they'll stop calling them sex bots, and they will start calling them companion bots. They have actually been trying to pass laws for a while, Brass Monkey, to outlaw sex bots. This feminists actually submitted request legislation like 2 or 3 years ago, but they haven't been able to do that yet. Keep in mind that sex bots will be both male and female. Again, it's the very fact that Donald Trump is president right now, our president-elect, makes such a big difference, because the cry bullies can no longer use the same rhetoric. They can't censor people in the same factor. You have to understand that because of who Donald Trump is, if Donald Trump can say you can grab him by the pussy, if it's good enough for Donald Trump, it's good enough for me. Think about that carefully. No companion bots will be for women. They will still have a negative connotation for men. To be very honest, dude, again, they're going to design sex bots that men will enjoy. They're going to position them as being superior to women. And I mean, I remember reading an article that said something like by the year 2035, or 2025, the relationships between men and sex bots will become normal, and by 2050, something like half of all romantic relationships will be between people and sex bots. And Reversible Migtau walked in. Reversible Age Reversible. Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of different things happening. There's definitely going to be a lot of different things to consider, because at the end of the day, things are changing, and people have to accept that they're changing. You know, you cannot be ignorant, you cannot be arrogant, you cannot pretend that things are not happening. You have to accept that the world around us is changing, that the world around us is becoming a very different place. And that's something that we have to acknowledge. It's something that we have to simply begin to prepare for. We cannot be arrogant, we cannot be foolish. And again, people seem to think that women are going to somehow hold on to power. They're not. Believe it or not, they really had nothing going on for them in the first place. And I just, Reversible, just say, if you're still around, I did send you a link so that you can join. So Reversible, you can check that in your YouTube inbox if you want to. And there's a link for you to join. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, you have to be realistic and rational. Women, feminism has never stuck around for more than a decade. Usually 5 years at a time. It's something that comes around, pops up, and then goes away. And this is the longest it's ever been around. And then it's going to go underground again. And the thing is, this time when it goes back underground, it's going to go with all the fat, ugly women. And in general society, is going to literally have a situation where people are crying and screaming. I have a woman commenting on my video. I have a video coming out in a little while where a white woman is commenting, complaining that white men need to come back and take care of white women, and Migtau is destroying white men. Yeah, I actually have this, and it'll be out in a little while. This is just evidence for you guys to show you how desperate, literally how desperate things are, how desperate women are right now. Don't misunderstand. Don't think that, oh, no, it's going to keep on going. Things have already changed. Why do you think the media, why do you think everyone hates Trump so much? Like I said, if it's good enough for the president, it's good enough for us. People have been suppressed. Men have been suppressed. The very fact is, once you let that genie out of the bottle, the male anger, the male drive, after being kept locked down for so long, it's going to burst to the top. 2017 is going to be a major resurgence when it comes to men. And suddenly the weakness of women and feminism is going to become evident in just the way they behave. Finishing clubs, they will knock out men and drag them back to their lairs. No, stop making these kinds of jokes, because they're not really jokes. You think they're funny, but they're not. They're true. You're going to have women committing rape. If you think I'm joking, when they can't find a man to fuck them, you're going to have women committing rape. Literally committing rape and being beaten in the streets. And if you think it's a joke, just wait for it. You'll be shocked to see how desperate many of these women turn out to be, as men choose to focus on their passions, choose to focus on their companion bots, choose to focus on talking to each other, having relationships. That's something that men there's been a breakdown with. Men bonding with each other. Men bonding with each other, that's something women have broken down. By invading male spaces, men had lost the ability to really sit down and talk with each other, discuss things like science, truly create something new. That's something that's going to start happening again. It's going to be a new point of philosophy, of growth. We are literally entering the age of the Migtau. The age of feminism is over. The age of feminism was for the last 50, 60 years. That age is now over. Okay? And Reversible is evidently with us. So he will hopefully start talking in a little bit. But yeah, the age of the Migtau is here, and it's going to be a frightening age. Welcome, Reversible.
Hello, how are you guys today? Can you hear me? How's my sound?
I can hear you just fine. I'm glad that dude, I've been trying for weeks to get you on. You can tell.
Yeah, we just it was such a. You live on the West Coast, I live on the East Coast, and it was like a work schedule and everything. And we've been trying to get together, and I'm glad that Friday, I have a Friday open, a Friday night, and we can do this. It's great.
Great. Okay, so yeah, so right now I'm talking about the New World Order, and honestly, dude, people seem to think that things are just like, a lot of guys, I don't blame them for feeling so hopeless after the living hell we've lived through. But honestly, after what's happened, things are changing. Go ahead. What's your take on this?
Oh, there seems to be a new, fresh feeling in the air. I don't know if it was the Donald Trump, the implosion of the far right liberals and the SJW warriors going crazy, and we were talking about a collapse of feminism lately. Feminism is going through this big, huge period of groupthink, and they're too far into themselves, and they're getting everything wrong. And it seems to be there's been a shift, hasn't there?
There's been a major shift, and like you said, you can feel it in the air. Ever since Donald Trump won, I feel it. You can feel it. Just interacting with people, interacting with other men. You can see it on their faces, especially, I want to say especially like a lot of white men. You can see a difference on their faces. Like it's like people are kind of like coming out of the cave suddenly, suddenly opening their mouths, not afraid.
Change the subject. I was listening to your analogy before about sex bots.
Yeah.
And how female sex bots were somehow looked at differently, and male sex bots. Now it just hit me when you think about the actual dildo, and it's so acceptable that a woman uses a dildo, and you see vibrators on TV, and they call it massagers, but we all know what they're using them for. And they're on TV, and your child can watch it as on Channel 8 or something, because they're so prevalent on TV. But you talk about like the sex bot for a male, and it's all hush hush and bad language, then, isn't it?
It's funny you mentioned those vibrators. I've literally gone to the pharmacy, and I've seen them selling the small, like you call them, massagers.
Yeah, a massager.
In the pharmacy.
In the pharmacy.
Oh my gosh. like it's a health product.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, that's a dildo. and but it's just so hard to be a male anymore, and in this atmosphere, in this gynocentric atmosphere, it's so hard. Female sexuality is considered a wonderful thing. Male sexuality is considered rape.
What is going to have to happen is this, and I see it happening. First off, Donald Trump can't do it all on his own.
No,
he opened the door, but it's going to be up to men now to stand up and reclaim what's ours. Okay?
Yeah.
Possible. So that's really where it's going to go. At the end of the day, the concept of thinking of men as human beings, women are not capable of that. Women are capable of pretending that they care about men because the man is their utility, so they want to act like they care. They don't want to lose their utility, but they don't actually care. They will never actually care about men. But if we can teach men how to care about men again, teach other men how to care about other men again, that is where the true breakthrough comes from.
That's where the true breakthrough. When men start thinking about men as human beings, other men, and we start acting like we're brothers, not like we're just this competition for female mating schemes. We're more than that. We're friends. We're brothers. We're fathers. We're workmates. We put our lives in the hands of another man. Almost, and a lot of us every day we put our lives in the hand of another man, and that other man is competing with you for resources and sex and women and mating systems. And if we could just stop all that shit just for a little time, start thinking about men as humans.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Reversible. A lot of men are going monk. A lot of men, especially the beta males, are going to jump on top of the sex doll thing. I mean, right now, the Roxy dolls, they cost $7,000. And some of
that's affordable.
$7,000. Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of money. But
yeah, it's a lot of money. But
they cost $7,000. And some of these things are ugly. And selling out. They are selling out. They have more orders than they can fill.
Yeah, I seen a picture you put up the other day, and they got sort of that like doll-like look to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like the one I put up. That wasn't even as bad as some of the other ones. And again, so many guys are fed up with women. They're just so fed up that they will happily fuck a piece of silicone and then take a nap.
Yeah, men have given up on women. We've tried for years to get them to act responsible and accountable, and what do we get? Just this total negligence of, and it's like you're talking to a brick wall. You can't talk to them about it. Being responsible and accountable for the actions, and there's always some excuse. And men get, it's apathy. America and most Western societies are feeling so much apathy towards anything, from work to play to entertainment to things you like to do. There's so much apathy in the air, and it generally permeates, and it permeates everything, and it comes from one specific spot, like you say all the time. All roads lead to Migtau. What you're saying is all roads lead to this gynocentric thing that's holding us down.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think that it was some kind of warped arrangement where men ended up in a relationship having to take care of women for the rest of their lives. When you look at nature, this type of arrangement does not exist in nature. It does not. Okay? At some point in our history, this type of arrangement was made, and it was made to benefit the women. But in the end, it only ended up leading to chaos. And the funny thing about women is that when women are empowered, women end up destroying everything because their nature is to be within chaos. Women actually feel more comfortable in chaos than they do in peace. Because when they're in peace, they create chaos.
Oh yeah, you know what I call that.
I don't want a woman.
No, I'm not gonna fall for that unicorn thing. I was married for a lot of years, and my wife was. She was what you consider the perfect housewife. She was the perfect, how good they can, how long they can portray that. But at one certain moment, she snapped, and she snapped big time. I for years, for almost a decade, the question was why. It was a why question. Why did that happen? What was in there that, for 16 years, this thing, she's, I come home and, it was whatever it was what she said it was going to be. But that it's never that time where they're saying that I'm going to be good, I'm going to be careful with my sexuality, I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be a housewife, and I'm going to be a baby maker, and I'm going to take care of the kids. It's never all that time. It's that one moment at the end when they no longer do that. And that could be anywhere from 6 months or 3 months to 16 to 20 years.